On today's episode, it's a huge pleasure to be with the irritatingly talented Charlotte Freemantle, doyenne of the London interior scene. Charlotte is co-owner and managing director, along with her hubby Will Fisher, of the mighty Jamb, that emporium of beauty on the Pimlico Road, selling fireplaces, antiques and lighting, amongst many other covetable objects. Charlotte has recently thrown her hat into the interior decoration world too, stamping her well-honed aesthetic on interiors, which can be seen in all their glory at places such as Alduri House in Scotland. Charlotte, it's a huge joy to be here in your stunning home in South London. Thank you very much for coming on.
Well, thank you for being here, Paddy.
I mean, I have seen this room, or this house, in the press, in magazines, and kind of awed over it.
You're so sweet. I mean, because of the beauty of the podcast, I don't think you got quite the tidiest version that normally the magazines get.
That's much nicer, isn't it? Do you love a little bit of living in shabby?
This is how it is, you know, with the unopened mail and the
Perfect
books everywhere, and normally the dogs, but we've sent them off. You're actually in the only room that has got comfortable chairs. Will's mother is always giving us a hard time for everything's too antique and uncomfortable.
So has Will been in antiques forever?
Since he was 16, because he was mentored by his best friend's stepdad. He met at primary school.
Okay. And have you always had that love too, but coming from a different place?
We've always had a very similar aesthetic, but I don't have his knowledge on the antiques. My first love was the textiles. So when I left university, my first job was at Bonham's in their textile department.
Right.
And then when I got made redundant from there, I went on to work for Benison Fabrics. So I think we've always come to something with these different disciplines, you know, him on the furniture and a very architectural side.
Right.
You know, we'll be walking along the street and I'll be distracted by a paint colour on a shutter. And then he will be distracted by a cornice. And,
right, okay.
Oh my God, we sound really interesting.
No.
Need to get out more. But anyway, that's how it kind of divides.
So we're going to kick off with your childhood.
Do you know, it's a really funny one, because I thought it was going to be one of the trickiest ones. And in the event, it was the easiest, because there's been so much reflection recently, because my father died at Christmas.
Sorry.
And I've been going through a lot of photographs and letters. And my sister and I, we were brought up in our house in Winchester. And it was an 18th century house with very early kind of Elizabethan foundations. And we had this incredible library that was in the lower ground, and it was divided by this spiral staircase. And Daddy's office was down one end, panelled in books. He was a writer, so worked from home every day. And on the other end was the library with the TV, and it was painted this kind of extraordinary red colour, and it was just divine, and it was contrasted with all the furniture upholstered with a kind of like a black chintz, you know, the background was black. And
very David Hicks.
It really was. And I was thinking about it, you know, knowing that we'd be talking today, and I was thinking, a child of the 80s, that's where everything happened. You know, you congregated there, you know, you watched TV.
Right, okay.
I'd watch Tomorrow's World to try and pretend to my parents I was really brainy, but then...
I think we all did that, didn't we?
But then secretly, all I wanted to do was watch Top of the Pops and Grange Hill. You know, I made dens there.
Right, okay.
But this red, it wasn't like a guardsman's red. It had some pink in it.
Okay.
And I just absolutely loved it. It was very cocooning colour.
Who decorated it? Who made that choice?
It was my mother.
Okay.
Who was a makeup artist. She worked in film and TV.
Okay.
And I would say that she is the biggest influence on me in colour. She's really good at colour.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she was one of the main makeup artists for Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, with John Pertwee and Una Stubbs.
Una Stubbs.
God.
Yeah, so it was her decision, and, you know, it was a place where you'd be sitting and you get called up for supper, or you get called down by Daddy if you're about to, you know, get told off, because he had this wonderful way, you know, he pretended that he was terribly fierce, and he wasn't at all. So then I was thinking about what colours that it would relate to.
With our colour chart, yeah.
So I found one that was in carnadine.
Okay, yeah.
And then I was going through your archive colours. Is it Rectory Red?
Yeah.
It's quite similar.
Which has got quite a bit of blue in it, hasn't it? It's a bit more blue in Rectory. Yeah, and Carnedy's got a little bit more sort of don't want to say orange, but almost kind of a cayenne pepper kind of spice note to it. It's a little bit stronger, I think.
I think it probably, we're going to have to settle on in
Carnadine. Yeah, we can do that.
Um,
It's really interesting because, I mean, that's a whole thing, wasn't it? It was about a year ago, 2 years ago, that red theory. So I'm just looking around here. You know, if you have that little bit of red running in a room, it kind of elevates everything else. But actually, you've got a blue and kind of indigo and red, almost rectory red striped cushion, haven't you? But and leather, sort of well patinaed leather here. But I think red's a really tricky colour, and I keep thinking I never use red. But then I was actually, after that thing came out about the elevation of red in a space, I was like, I have really got a bit of red in nearly every room, and it's just kind of subconscious because red is not a colour I'm necessarily attracted to.
But the thing is, I think I really am.
Are you?
But I found that room so incredibly chic, and I love the colour red. I will always be drawn to it, especially in textiles.
Okay.
You know, like the Indians and
Yeah.
the kind of the cinnabar reds and the madder reds, and
Yeah.
you know, like the one behind you.
So this is beautiful, little kind of Georgian sort of, is it Victorian or Georgian sort of?
It's just a typical
No,
Howard
Oh,
chair.
is it a little Howard chair?
Yeah.
Okay. And a lovely block print.
Yeah, it's a old Indian print, actually one from
Is that Benison?
Benison.
Is it? Okay.
And it's one of my favourites. It's trim Chromologist, and it's that kind of beautiful combination of the light blue and the madder red. So yeah, that's why I'm really drawn to it.
Okay. I love all the floors and stairs here. I mean, it's just so... And every creak.
It's so funny, the other night Eliza had too many friends here for a booze up for A-levels, and they just walk up and down really loudly while we'll lie in bed trying to sleep. And he heard a kid go into the bathroom and go, gosh, it's like a room with a bath in it. It's like a bathroom.
So here we are. We're going back to that red pop again, aren't we, in here? On your two silk shades and your lovely kind of, not quilt, is it Durham quilt? Your red Durham quilt or something?
It's actually a French quilt.
Is it?
And well, exactly. So there we have, you know, where it's pulled in and kind of hopefully throwing everything off a bit.
So we are moving on to the colour of your youth.
So the next colour is light blue, and it would seem unusual for this to be colour of my youth because in many ways it's too calm. The reason I chose this colour is I was thinking about a colour of university.
Okay.
And I was thinking about when I went to Bristol UWE, I was studying ceramics. I was doing studio ceramics, physically.
As a potter. Oh, right,
potter,
okay.
making them. And I was totally obsessed with the Celadon glaze.
Right.
And my degree show was all around hand building porcelain and the Celadon glaze. And I was thinking, you know, the light blue reflects it. And it's a colour I'm so drawn to, the Celadon. You know, downstairs in the kitchen, I've got endless ceramics with it on. Whether it's Bernard Leach or a Korean moon jar, it's a colour that I'm just...
You need to spend time with my other half, Paul, you know, who does the tapestry.
And I got some of his tapestry. I love it.
Because he studied ceramics.
I didn't know that.
And he was obsessed with Korean and Japanese ceramics, but also English. And he did his thesis on the symbiosis relationship between Britain and Japan.
Oh my gosh.
Which was kind of... So I'm learning a lot from him.
I'm sure I was meant to learn all of that, but there was a lot of wine to be drunk and a lot of Rich and Judy to be watched while you waited for the kiln to be fired. But the thing is with the light blue, apart from it reminding of the kind of the Celadon glaze, I've used the colour in our drawing room here.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Well, that's a nice intro. So I'm looking around all four walls in here at the moment, and it could be 4 different colours.
I know.
So behind you there's almost this soft warmth and a little tiny bit of green through it. Then over here around the fireplace it's kind of cooler and greyer. And then sort of softer over in the window, and that
Absolutely.
it's kind of extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah. And in fact, I guess a final part on this colour was that when we were decorating Aldoy Castle, it was a one colour that worked on a particularly difficult room, because I felt like I'd done all the colours, I had it all sorted, and then I went back 2 months later and the light had changed again. Okay. And a lot of the colours that I had chosen just weren't working.
So I know I mentioned it in the intro, but talking about Alduri, this is I'm not saying it's your first foray into interior, but it was your first big project.
Yeah, but I think it really was in a many ways.
Can you just kind of briefly touch on what Alduri is? And
Alduri was a 24-room castle.
Okay.
And the client had bought it full of, everything that the previous owner had had.
Oh, it's kind of lock, stock and barrel purchase.
Lock, stock and barrel. And then in the end, it was just like, let's just go for it and just rip it out. We just have to kind of strip it and have a blank canvas.
Including all the items and the chattels that were in there.
Apart from, obviously all the ancestral paintings and a few pieces of furniture, it really all had to kind of change. And Will and I were tasked with returning it to a Scottish country house. Okay.
I mean, that's a big profile job for your first interior decoration job.
Definitely, we were terrified. Will, I'd find him rocking in a dark room, trying to work out how he was going to find 12 beds.
And actually, if anybody's really curious listening, it was published, wasn't it, in World of Interiors?
In 2023.
Was it 2023?
And this colour, light blue, it was one of those,
the saviour for the
tipping moment, the tipping moment of,
Yeah.
How are we going to fix this really tricky room? And there it was, and it kind of kicked off everything.
Okay. This is your tiled kind of downstairs kind of country house kitchen. It's beautiful, isn't it?
This is the kind of surface that I'm talking about, Paddy. Where it's just the original patina and the wonderful paintwork.
I mean, obviously they're shelves, he says.
I mean, we call it the pantry rack.
Okay.
And probably better cooks would have much more of an array of herbs and spices all over it.
I'm going to look at your rice pots.
Oh my God, there's probably just...
Oh no, she's weevils.
Maggots in there.
Maggots and weevils.
Yeah, there definitely will be. I wouldn't be surprised. But you can see the theme with it. When we got married, I asked everyone to buy us Celadon dinner service from Andrew Crouch, who's an amazing potter in Ludlow.
These?
Yes.
These beautiful bowls.
Again, you can see how it reminds me of that light blue.
Oh, it really is, isn't it? God, they're lovely. Good colour.
It's a great colour.
So now we're moving on to your defining decade. So can you explain when that is kind of in time, date-wise, and what the colour is for that too?
So the colour I have chosen for my defining decade is blue-grey. And Will and I had been together for 2 years, and I met him actually in New York. I was all kind of full of myself and New Yorkie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say love at first sight.
It was definitely love at first sight. But he had a girlfriend at the time, so we kind of I started working for him instead, and
cunning,
very cunning plan, and I was trying to show how clever I was at everything, and to make him fall in love with me. But 2007, we already had our first daughter. Life was moving really fast, and our first showroom was down in the Core 1 in the gasworks. I don't know if you remember it. It was off the New Kings Road.
Okay.
And when I joined him, it was just quite chaotic, and there was antiques everywhere, a few reproduction pieces, and you could still smoke inside the building. You could still smoke at your place of work.
Okay.
And you'd have like one customer every 10 days. When they walk out, you'd be stubbing out a cigarette and like trying to get rid of the smoke. But Christopher Gibbs, who was a friend of Will's.
For those listeners who don't know who Christopher Gibbs is, he's probably one of the most important British antique dealers of the 20th century. Yeah.
The legend that was. He had a space behind the Pimlico Road, and he said to Will, I really think you should take it over from me. So we jumped at it because to have a place that was just ours felt magnificent. You can imagine taking over a space from someone like Christopher, the pressure of it, and to want to make it yours and put your own identity in it. We're like, no, we've got to find our perfect colour for the stone fireplaces and the white marble fireplaces. And we spent hours with our paint samples trying to get it perfectly different and the perfect colour, and ended up doing exactly the same colour that Christopher had done. And that actually was hardwick white. And When we eventually moved from there to the shop on the actual Pimlico Road, and we had a different light, and we were doing all our advertising campaigns, the colour that we really felt worked with the product and everything we were doing was blue-grey. And
which isn't a great leap. Can I just flag this? It's not a great leap from light blue.
Well,
no, but it's a very
Paddy,
beautiful colour again.
I know I haven't really moved on much, but for me it's a nuancing. And now you pointed out that we're one-trick ponies up in our bedroom. It's also the colour we've used again because it was just the perfect colour against the Bresh fireplace.
You might go and nose up there as long as your knickers are cleared up from the floor.
Well, I don't know if they are.
Okay, well,
but I will pick them up before we go up there.
Then. And I'm guilty, so I'm being really horrible to you because I've used light blue and blue grey nearly everywhere I've lived because they're such easy colours to throw other stuff at.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
But I would suppose the blue grey, I feel like that is a colour that is synonymous with our brand. You know, it is the early pictures, the time when we were starting to be recognised for presenting a company in a different way. Styling, you know, we're using everything that's around us. And when we're decorating and when we're doing anything, creating a picture, always the question is, well, would you have this yourself? Do you mean, would you live with this?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then we're not going to do it. And so, yeah, the blue-grey reminds me of that time when we were starting out. And
because the front room of your showroom, well, the left-hand side is still blue-grey, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is indeed.
So here we are on the first floor, aren't we? Look at your view. You've got quite a good garden here with a church at the end. It's heaven, isn't it?
Well, it's incredible. I mean, so St Giles Church, and that view looking onto it with directly onto the spire is like being in the countryside, and it's just gives so much joy. It's where Will and I were married. It's where the children were christened.
And this is blue-grey.
And this is the blue-grey, and that is an 18th century Belection fireplace.
So what is the stone on your Belection fireplace? Because that is just beautiful, isn't it?
It's a Bresh violette that, again, we still quarry now and make a lot of fireplaces out of now. But that is a 18th century original. Again, something that gives endless joy. You're constantly seeing different colours come out of that marble, from the green to the pistachio to the aubergine. But it contrasts so beautifully with the blue-grey.
So luckily for you, we're now moving on to where you are now.
I feel like the colour I've chosen is the colour that kind of is at the beginning, but I'm kind of coming back to again. And it's an archive colour called Biscuit.
Ah, okay.
So when we moved into the house, it was kind of very clear from the start that we wanted the kitchen to feel like a typical country house kitchen.
Yeah.
And we tiled all the walls in white tiles, and we painted the walls in the beautiful colour that is Biscuit. It's a colour that we always return to, and I feel at the moment is one that we're using a lot in current projects. It's almost like wet sand, and it's got enough yellow in it, but it's not too bright.
It's not too bright, is it?
And we're obsessed with surface and patina, and for me it feels like the kind of colour you would find on an old Edwardian crusty cupboard.
Yeah.
And so when we painted the woodwork downstairs, I felt like you really could believe that it had always been there.
That's my favourite, what I would call kind of mid-warm neutral, so it's not too yellow.
Yes.
I love the way it responds differently from going from dead flat to gloss. It's so beautiful in gloss.
I've never seen it in gloss.
It's really elevated. So I've got it in the kitchen at home at my mother's house, and I've also got it in our bathroom too as a trim colour. But it is a kind of toasted biscuit colour, isn't it? A good digestive. I don't know if digestive translates. It does to us Brits, doesn't it? But
it does to us Brits.
Almost a chair you're on. That beautiful silk linen.
I think it's linen. I don't know how much of the dirt is making it change a different colour. My palette at the moment is the sands and the tobaccos and the deep browns. That's the kind of palette that I'm quite drawn to at the moment.
But I love, Charlotte, that I do think I'm kind of mirroring where you're at the moment, or maybe it's just a journey I'm on as well, which is similar to your sort of similar path to you, is I bang on about browns and tobaccos and caramel tones and everything all the time. And they're definitely coming back. You're seeing them a lot more. And was there a trigger for you when you went, oh, I don't want green in my life, or I don't, suddenly the appeal of tobacco? Because I just find it so elegant.
See, for me, I recently bought the most beautiful Jamb dress from the 70s that is, for me, the perfect brown. And I'm drawn to it in almost everything. You know, in Corfu in the summer, you've got all the ferns, all the bracken, and it's that rich amber colour. Yeah. And as you're driving through the mountains, that is very much an overwhelming colour. And then the linens I use are always, you know, the open weave, and I can't stop going to it from textiles to what I'm drawn to in nature.
It's a flattering family, isn't it?
It is.
When I do my colour advice or interiors work, I'm talking about brown and people look absolutely horrified or really nervous about it. I just don't think of brown as a colour or a colour. Think of it as your neutral. It's just stronger neutrals.
Yes.
Because you can, again, a bit like this soft blue, you can throw any colour at those good mid-browns and it'll work. So pinks, reds, blues, greens. Yellow, you have to be a little bit careful because you go to banana territory, but you know, I think it's really interesting, you know, that it is a neutral, and that's the best way to kind of take it on board.
Exactly. I mean, for us, we have to be careful with it because we have quite a lot of brown furniture. So you know, the light blue works perfectly with that, but it's just such a good palette to be able to work from.
So this is the moment, Charlotte, that I gift you a colour. And it's an archive colour of ours that we did as a collaboration a few years ago called Deep Reddish Brown, which I think is really, really chic. It's slightly sort of oxblood red, but I'm calling it Antique Red. And it's a lovely, lovely sort of really rich oxblood.
That is so beautiful.
And it's
Thank
so
you
chic.
so much.
I mean, as a dead flat. So there's your little tin.
I love
Charlotte,
it very
of
much.
Antique Red.
I love it very much. And
would you use that?
I would. And you know what? We've just created some beeswax candles for our marble candlesticks for Christmas. So we've really done it working on that tone.
Oh, beautiful.
So I really do love this colour.
So moving away from that kind of biscuit honey colour
yes.
to... Oh, wow, okay.
It's a very beautiful colour. Thank you for that.
It's a really lovely colour. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Well, thank you. I feel very flattered to be asked to do it.
If you would like to follow Charlotte, her Instagram is @jam_London. You can also follow us at Farrow and Ball. And of course, you can discover all the colours we've talked about today on our website. And if you enjoyed this conversation, please, please do tell your friends. The Chromologist is a Farrow and Ball and Feast collective production. The producer is Sarah Cadden. Until the next one, goodbye and big hugs.